Whispers in the dark. I never thought it would happen to me, the betrayal of someone I loved, the destruction of everything I held dear. It all started so innocently, a passing glance, a casual conversation, and before I knew it, I was in a whirlwind of guilt and lies. It wasn't that I didn't love Emily, far from it. But something inside me had shifted, and I found myself lost in a relationship that had become stagnant, uncommunicative. And that's when I met Alex. At first, it was just harmless flirtation. But then it escalated. He was different, easy to talk to, spontaneous, and he made me feel alive again, something I hadn't felt in months. I told myself it was a mistake, something to be forgotten, but the line between right and wrong had blurred. It all came crashing down when Emily found out. The look in her eyes as I confessed was enough to break me in ways I didn't think were possible. "I can't believe you did this," she said, her voice shaking. "I trusted you." That night, I sat in silence, the weight of my choices suffocating me. I had destroyed everything for a fleeting moment of attention. The consequences were clear. Emily walked away, and Alex, he was gone too. I was left to face the consequences of my actions, the isolation that followed, and the haunting realization that I had lost the one person who truly mattered. In the shadow of love. Weeks passed, and I couldn't shake the guilt that had consumed me. I moved into a small apartment, far from the life I had once known. Every corner, every piece of furniture, reminded me of what I had thrown away. I tried to reach out to Emily, but she wouldn't answer my calls. She had every right not to. I had betrayed her trust in a way I couldn't undo. I thought about my affair with Alex, the way he had made me feel special at first, the way I had convinced myself that the emptiness between Emily and me was reason enough to make such a terrible decision. But it wasn't about her, it was about my own shortcomings, my inability to communicate, to address the issues that had been festering for so long. Months passed, and the weight of my actions still lingered. I tried to move forward, tried to bury the guilt, but it never went away. It was always there, gnawing at me. Then one day, I found myself at a cafe, watching couples laugh and talk, hands intertwined. That's when I saw her. Emily. She looked different, but she was still the same person I had once loved with all my heart. A part of me wanted to run to her, to beg for her forgiveness, but I stayed rooted in my seat. I had no right to disrupt her life. I had no right to expect anything from her anymore. But just seeing her, even for a fleeting moment, gave me a strange sense of peace. Perhaps it was because I realized that I couldn't change the past, but I could learn from it. I could be a better person, one who didn't run from their mistakes, one who took responsibility for their actions. The letter. After everything had fallen apart, I wrote Emily a letter. I didn't expect her to respond. I didn't even expect her to read it. But I had to try. I had to tell her how deeply sorry I was for the pain I caused. Dear Emily, I don't expect you to read this, but I need you to know how sorry I am. I betrayed you, and nothing can change that. I can't undo the past, and I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I want you to know that I regret every single moment of my actions. I was selfish and lost, and I hurt you in a way I can never take back. Please, take care of yourself. You deserve everything good in this world. With all my regret, Mark. I sent the letter, knowing full well that it would probably be ignored, and that was fine. It was my final attempt at making things right, even if the damage had already been done. The reflection. As the months went by, I started to rebuild my life. I sought therapy, worked on understanding the root causes of my decisions, and spent time reflecting on the person I had become. The journey to redemption was slow, painful, and sometimes felt impossible. But I learned to embrace my flaws and to be honest with myself about the mistakes I had made. One day, I found myself walking down a familiar street, passing the cafe where Emily and I used to go. And there she was again. Emily. She was sitting by the window, sipping her coffee, lost in thought. I stood there for a moment, just watching her. This time, I didn't feel anger or guilt. I just felt gratitude for the love we had shared, for the lessons I had learned, and for the person I was becoming. Ending note: sometimes, love isn't enough. Sometimes, we make mistakes that change everything. But that doesn't mean we can't learn from them. It doesn't mean we can't try to be better. And maybe, just maybe, we can find peace in knowing that even though we lost the love we had, we haven't lost the ability to grow.